The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear son, Prahlad, all good fortune unto you. For the time being, please go to the place known as Sutala, and there enjoy happiness with your grandson and your other relatives and friends." The Supreme Personality of Godhead assured Prahlad Maharaj, "You shall be able to see me there in my usual feature with conch shell, disc, club, and lotus in my hand. Because of your transcendental bliss due to always personally seeing me, you will have no further bondage to fruitive activities." Srila Sukadeva Goswami said, accompanied by Bali Maharaj, "My dear King Parikshit, Prahlad Maharaj, the master of all the chiefs of the demons, took the Supreme Lord's order on his head with folded hands. After saying yes to the Lord, circumambulating him and offering him respectful obeisances, he entered the lower planetary system known as Sutala. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, thereafter addressed Sukacharya, who was sitting nearby in the midst of the assembly with the priest, Brahma, Hota, Udgata, and Arvayu. "O Maharaj Parikshit, these priests were all Brahmavadis, followers of the Vedic principles for performing sacrifices. O best of the Brahmanas, Sukacharya, please describe the fault or discrepancy in your disciple Bali Maharaj, who engaged in performing sacrifices. This fault will be nullified when judged in the presence of qualified Brahmans." Om Gyanti Maranda Shagyanam Jana Salakya Chakshurumiritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Anirupa Sanatano Raguyako Sri Jiva Gopalako Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vristavana Suti Devi Pranami Hari Priye He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinobando Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kantana Namo Brahmai Devaya Go Brahmani Taya Jagati Daya Krishna Govindaya Namo Nama. So here, it is a little weird that he gives me a verse and the next verse is supposed to be with it. Anyway, here's the purport. When Bali Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj had departed for the planet Sutala, Lord Vishnu asked Sukacharya what the fault was in Bali Maharaj, for which Sukacharya had cursed him. It might be argued that since Bali Maharaj had now left the scene, how could his faults be judged? In reply to this, Lord Vishnu informed Sukacharya that there was no need for Bali Maharaj's presence, for his faults and discrepancies could be nullified if judged before the Brahmins. As will be seen in the next verse, Bali Maharaj had no fault. Sukacharya had unnecessarily cursed him. Nonetheless, this was better for Bali Maharaj. Being cursed by Sukacharya, Bali Maharaj was deprived of all his possessions, with the result that the Supreme Personality of Godhead favored him for his strong faith in devotional service. As stated in this Shastra, Sarvahanam Achuteja Deya. By worshipping Achuta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one satisfies everyone. Because Bali Maharaj had satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there was no discrepancies in his performances of sacrifices. So I want to go first back to that verse where the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear son Prahlad, all good fortune unto you. For the time being, please go to the place known as Utala and there enjoy happiness with your grandson and your other relatives and friends." The devotee who gave class on this verse said that he thought that a little strange, or, that normally, like if you give someone material opulences, that they might fall in Maya. But actually, we don't have to be poor, and we don't have to be deprived of material opulences. If you use your opulences in the service of the Lord, there's no need for him to take them away. It's only if he thinks that your opulences, your beauty, your intelligence, your strength are impediments to become a pure devotee, then he might take them away. But if they are no need, then he will let you stay rich and healthy and beautiful and strong, etc. So I find it a misconception that all devotees are poor, have to be poor. No. We are children of God. And if you have a child, would you deprive him of anything he desires? You will give it to him. But if he asks for a knife, and you know that's no good, you might give him a rubber knife. But you understand. But if he would like to do something for you in special service, and say, "Oh, I wish I could add this, so I could do this for you." If that meditation is there, he will give it completely. He will give you thousands of pounds. He will give you everything you need to do your service. And it's sometimes so embarrassing that even a little advanced devotee, if he thinks of something and it comes on its way, like that. The Lord is in your heart. And that is so nice about, for me, for Krishna consciousness, it means to become conscious of the super soul within me. The little voice that gives me a hint or a tip or warns me or somehow or other just, guides me from within and who provides me with everything I need. And that for me, it's the aim of Krishna consciousness, because if you know that the Lord is actually in your heart and that He's, for each one of you, that He's taking care of you, and that sometimes He humiliates you in order to make you a little humble, if you're getting a little too proud or so. I'm a singer. Sometimes I sing so nicely, and then a frog comes in my throat, and I go, and then I'm laughing inside. I think, cheeky, but he does that to me like that. So, but he's like that, So if you get proud of something, then he just shows, I can take it away any moment, like that. So I'm going back to the verses. Can in the Pujari room please a little bit softer? Thank you. So, Srila Sukadeva Goswami said, accompanied by Bali Maharaj, my dear King Parikshit, Prahlad Maharaj, the master of all the chiefs of the demons, took the Supreme Lord's order on his head with folded hands. After saying yes to the Lord, circumambulating him, and offering him respectful obeisances, he entered the lower planetary system as Sutala. Yeah? So, folded his hands, the Lord is speaking. When a superior is speaking to you, yes, Prabhu, yes, my Lord, what can I do for you? Then he pays obeisances, just like we circumambulate Tulsi Maharani 3 times. It's a sign for those who are new to offer respect. It's a sign of respect. So in India, they circumambulate the temple. Who of you circumambulates the manna 3 times a day? Sometimes. You can do it. It's an extra. You want to just go out, especially when the weather is so nice now, at japa time. Just go outside and just circumambulate, and then you hear the voices of the sweet birds and the sun coming up. Nothing is more soothing and sweet. I know, especially now, with all the rhododendrons in flowery like that. And it's, in the house of the Lord. You can enjoy it as servants of the Lord, like that. And it's fresh. You get some oxygen, like especially if you're a little sleepy during your japa. Go outside, have a japa walk, and circumambulate at the same time. It's good, multitasking. Do things, different things at the same time. You wake up, you get purified by circumambulating like that. Next verse. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, therefore addressed Sukracharya, who was sitting nearby. No, I missed out something. Where was it? One second. Here. Yeah, it is in the same verse. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, thereafter addressed Sukracharya, who was sitting nearby in the midst of the assembly with the priest. He said, O Maharaj Parikshit, These priests were all Brahmavadis, followers of the Vedic principles for performing sacrifices. Who knows what a Brahmavadi is? We know what a Mayavadi is, but what is a Brahmavadi? Yes? No. 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 I know. You know why I know? Because I did a play about it, and in the play, in the narration, it was mentioned what Brahmavadis are. I will read that story now. In the former age of Satya Yuga, there was once an assembly of great sages who met on the banks of the river Sarasvati to perform a great sacrifice. In such assemblies, the sages usually discussed Vedic subject matters and philosophical topics in great depth. One of the sages was saying, the three predominating deities of this material world, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu, are directing all the affairs of the cosmos. They are all exalted personalities, but who of them is supreme? One sage said, well, as Lord Brahma created this universe, he surely must be the supreme. Another one said, no. You know, only Lord Shiva can destroy the universe, so he must be supreme. And one other one said, well, you know, Lord Vishnu maintains this universe. I think he must be supreme. So they were, well, I think Brahma, no, Shiva. It went on like that for a little while. Then they thought, we're going to test them. So they requested Bhrigu Muni, who is the brother of Lord Shiva and the son of Lord Brahma, to test these three deities. So, with this request, Lord Bhrigu Muni, went to the abode, to Brahmaloka, the abode of his father. When he saw his father, his father was pleased that he saw him, and he didn't greet him. Just like so many of you do in the morning, you don't greet each other. And also not elders, It's, if you see Mother Kalangana, pay your respects, touch the floor in front of her. She's your mother, very exalted personality. If you see, your leader, pay your obeisances, not only to the sannyasis, like that, or to your guru. Any exalted person, you pay respect, at least by nodding your head and acknowledging their presence. We have the most personal philosophy. We are the most impersonal devotees. So Lord Brahma was like this, and he just went straight past by, and Brahma and took his Brahman thread, and he was about to curse his son. But then, and I have to read this because I don't know it by heart. Let me see. 1 second. So, Bhrigu Muni purposely failed to observe such etiquette, because it's the duty of a son or disciple to offer respects and recite suitable prayers when he visits his father or spiritual master. Lord Brahma became very angry at his son. However, because Bhrigu was his son, Lord Brahma controlled his anger with his great intelligence. This means that although the quality of passion was prominent in Lord Brahma, he had the power to control it. His anger and control of anger are likened to fire and water. Water is produced from fire, but water has also the ability to extinguish the fire. Is that clear? You got it? Okay. That's it. React. If I ask you a question, nod your head. Not just stand like that. You all understand it? Okay. So, after testing Lord Brahma, Bhrigu Muni went directly to the abode of Lord Shiva, called what's the abode called of Lord Shiva? Kailash. Upon seeing his brother, Lord Shiva, became very pleased. Brigu! He said. And he was about to embrace Brigu. Brigu said, my dear brother, please, 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 please. Your body is smeared with ashes from the crematorium. Please, I would rather you do not touch me. And Shiva went, and became angry. He took up his trident and was about to kill him. And then his wife, his consort, Parvati, threw herself at the floor in between them and said, please, 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 oh, Pati, please, 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 don't hurt him. He's your brother. Please, 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 spare him, spare him. And then he controlled it. Wasn't pleased with it. Wasn't, it's okay. No, he was still annoyed with him. And Brigu went off. So then he went to the abode of Lord Vishnu. So Lord Narayan was lying there, being massaged by Lakshmi, massaging his feet. So now, Brigu Muni has insulted Brahma just by non-verbal behavior. By Brahma, he spoke. By Shiva, he insulted him with the words, which is worse, isn't it? So what did he do to Lord Vishnu? He went there while Lakshmi was massaging his feet, and he kicked him on the chest. And what did Lord Vishnu do? Lord Vishnu looked up, because he was a little maybe massaging, and then he looked up, and then he saw this great sage. So immediately he stood up, and he said, my dear sage, oh, please excuse me that I haven't noticed that you entered. Oh, your poor feet. You know, my chest is very, very hard. Please give me your feet. Let me massage your feet. So he said, so when Brigu Muni heard that, he was completely, he felt so bad, but he was also in transcendental bliss. And it was amazing to someone you kick on the chest who responds like that. Try it in the Brahmacharya some time. So then he realized, so he, Lord Vishnu, wow. So he went back to the sages, and then they all said, yes, surely Lord Vishnu must be the supreme, because if Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva cannot control their anger, so how can they save their disciples, their followers, like that? And then from then on, they all worshipped Lord Narayan and went back to Godhead. So what also very significant in this previous verse, that Prahlad Maharaj, he was seeing the Lord, with the four arms, and I find it so very amazing that we, inhabitants, or we are living in Kali Yuga, which is, short-lived, quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. We know about Krishna, two-armed form. So we know we have been given more knowledge, more intimate knowledge than all these exalted personalities who could only, like in former ages, they only could see the four-armed form of the Lord in their heart. Not a two-armed form playing the flute. And if you hear, this, my favorite CD, which everyone should have, especially those living outside, is a Prabhupada CD, and it's called Hare Krishna Classics, and on the front cover is Krishna and Arjuna with the horses in the battlefield. So on it, it's the Mahamantra, and Prabhupada gives the purport, and the Govindam Adipurisham and the purport. And it starts with the prayers to the six Goswamis, which is the most, it starts with the sitar, and this is the best CD to put on in the morning, if you want to listen to music. And while you put on your tilak or do something else, you listen to the translation, especially in the morning, because your mind is very quiet still, quiet. So if you hear knowledge, you can absorb each word. So in the translation of the Govindam Adipurisham prayers, he says, Lord Brahma, he was given this knowledge that he was an eternal maidservant of the Lord. But, Prabhupada said, he was not given complete knowledge, just partial knowledge. You see? So each one of us, we get realizations according to what you think. According to what do we get realizations of God, of his personality, his greatness, his supremacy? According to what? Anyone? Guess? Use your intelligence? Yes? Pardon? According to surrender? Yes. And of course, in this age, surrender to your desire. And in this age, because of Lord Chaitanya's appearance, and Lord Krishna's appearance, and thanks to Srila Prabhupada, we know that Krishna, to Bhagavan Swayam, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, So we who are the most fallen have been given the most intimate knowledge of Krishna, how he looks like, what he likes doing, what he's doing, his activities, his consorts, his everything around him in full detail, the color of his hair, the color of his skin, the color of his eyes, the clothes he's wearing, the instrument he plays, the names of his pet cow, the name of his pet deer, the name of his, whatever. Everything we know in detail about the Lord. So we should consider ourselves most fortunate. And because we have given these details, then who doesn't want to go there? Who doesn't want to go to the abode, either, play with him as a cowherd boy, or dance with him as a gopi, or feed him as a mother or father. Everything is nectar. Or even as a tree or as a peacock, you can dance in front of him, or whatever. Everything, when you get more and more purer, it's like a mirror covered with dust, so you can't see yourself clearly. So you start cleaning it, and then you see clearer and clearer. You might have a fright. Jai, Lord Shiv Ki Jai. So when you clean the mirror, I said you might have a fright, because then you realize, how much dirt is still on me. You see this black spot here, and your heart completely black. This and that. But, but you see yourself clearer and clearer. So the whole thing of Krishna consciousness is to purify yourself, to purify yourself from lust, from anger, from greed, from madness. And it helps. It works. I've seen people who are actually crazy. They became more or less normal, or sometimes completely normal, like that. Or only sometimes if they make offenses, they become crazy. And sometimes I've seen sane people becoming crazy, like that, because of offenses or whatever. So it's 8:15. Any questions? I can go on, but if you have